Welcome to Everyday Reviews, all you Taco fans or Toyota Tacoma fans. You know what? The Tacoma has been a favorite amongst Canadians, bestseller for over a decade. If you combine Canyon and Colorado sales from GM, it doesn't even come close to the number of Tacomas sold here. Well, today we're going to take a look at the all-new 2024 redesign, and we're going to see if Toyota got it right. All right, there she is. Damn, I gotta say, this thing looks pretty sexy. It looks nice and wide. You have these slim LEDs. They wrap right around. They're pulled right to the edges, giving it, once again, this wide stance, this hexagonal grille. Now, this grille changes depending on what trim model that you get. I like that it's not really huge, but it integrates really nicely with the front here. Some of the Tacoma trims actually have a large lower spoiler or this kind of air dam, which is removable. This is the TRD Off-Road, so it doesn't have it. If it did have it, I would take it off because that's going to affect your clearance down here. The TRD Off-Road also offers skid plates, so you get metal skid plates for the front for the engine. You also get it for the differential, also for the oil pan as well. And if you look through the fender, and you'll see the monotube Bilstein shocks with piggyback remote reservoirs. Off-road versions also get front frame cross members for more support and strength. Toyota knows that Tacoma owners like to accessorize, so they've given you all sorts of accessory points. One here, right in the front here. If you open that up, you can see you can actually add in an accessory here. You have a power port, and you can control that from the inside. Compared to the current generation, this new gen Tacoma really has a squared off, more modern look, but it definitely has that Tacoma DNA to it. I love the flares here. You have integrated flow-through vents coming through there, kind of like an air curtain going over the tire. Now you get 17 or 18-inch wheels, depending on what trim you get here. We have the 17-inch with the BF Goodrich trail terrain tires right here. I'm not normally a big fan of white. It doesn't really show the lines that well, but it does work with this TRD Off-Road with the black flares, the black wheels, even the black door handles. It has kind of a stormtrooper type of look. Now, this is built off of the new TNGA-F platform. That's the same as what the Tundra and the Sequoia use as well. It's a fully boxed frame. This wheelbase has been stretched to 115 millimeters more now, so it definitely is a larger truck than the outgoing model. I love the integration in the design department here. From the flares, you have this little bit of a lip on the roof area here. And when you come to the back, how they've actually joined the tail lights, which are LED, as well as the bumper, it just looks really, really cohesive in the design. Of course, you get a spare tire underneath this Tacoma. In Canada at launch, only the double cab will be available, and that is the volume seller. Now, depending on what trim you get, you can get a power tailgate. This off-road does not have it, but it's just like the Tundra. You do have an easy access or hands-free option. On the driver's side, there is this rib section here, and you would just take your elbow and just bump it, and down it would come. This one does have an assist, though. When you go down it comes. Now, if you have the power option, the nice thing about that is if you want to put it up, your hands might be full, you can just use your knee and just nudge it up and it's going to go up. But this one does not have that. Now, if you see here, you can get a 5 or 6 foot bed. Automatics can get a 5 or 6 foot. If you go and opt for the 6-speed manual transmission, that only comes in a 5-foot box. This box is now larger, 7% more volume, so it's a little bit higher, and that's so you can put larger items or a little bit taller items, and it'll fit underneath a tonneau cover, and that's going to be a welcome addition to a lot of Tacoma users for sure. The bed material is also new. This is a new sheet molded compound construction, so it's lighter and it's very, very strong. Once you're in this bed though, you'll see there's lots of tie down areas, but there are a lot of power options as well. Standard, you do get here a 400-watt inverter on the gas version. If you get into the hybrid trim that we're going to talk about a little later, you get 2,400 watts of power there. On the other side, you have a 12-volt as well as USB hookups in the back of the bed. You have LED lighting. Of course, you get a spare tire underneath this Tacoma. As well, you have a power rear window, which is operated from the inside. So let's have a look inside. For the inside of the Tacoma, a fresh new look. I love the color blue. Check out the blue accents on the dash and on the doors of this Tacoma TRD Off-Road. Super, super hot. Absolutely love it. So up front, standard, you get a 7-inch display on the SR5. If you go to TRD models like this here, you get a standard 12.3-inch driver display. All your information's there, very, very clear of what mode you're in, your fuel mileage, everything's there. Love the red TRD start-stop button. In the middle, you get an 8-inch display. Available now, a 14-inch, so a massive display, just like you would see on the new Tundra. Wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto are standard. That's a huge, huge bonus. And depending what trim you get, you can also get a multi-terrain monitor system. So that is really handy, not just for parking lots, but when you are off-road, being able to see over hills, what's coming up the front, on your sides for your wheels, all of that stuff there. Down below, hey, I like how they have still retained, not like some vehicles, you got actual real knobs and buttons to use for your climate control. Really big, so if you have gloves on, easy to reach as well. We have heated seats on here. I like this cubby on the side here. If you see, I'm gonna put my phone here. It's handy if you don't need to charge it. And you even have a hook here, grab handle here for the passenger, and a hook. You know, you might have your backpack or whatever you have there. You have your drive select here, your multi-terrain select. That's all brand new for this Tacoma. This is the off-road, so you do get the locking diff, and there's your button right there. And 2 cup holders, a decent size middle console storage area, but I love the storage area on the side pockets as well. You have this mesh area, so if you have something wet or something like that, you can put that there. And you also have decent drink holders here. Visibility is really good. I just hit the home link. This has built-in home link in the mirror as well. So yeah, let's check out the back. All right, we're in the back of the new Tacoma. First things first, you have decent room in height for your feet, which is a very, very important thing. My feet completely fit underneath. Knee room, my knees are not touching, by the way, and this seat is set for where I would be sitting, which is, I'm almost 5'11", so it is adequate for sure. And headroom, so it's really, really carved out, this roof area, so we have really good headroom here as well. Of course, there is a hump in the middle for the drivetrain, but you do have room for 3 passengers here. You have a 400-watt inverter plug there, as well as a 12-volt. Drink holders right in the middle, drink holders in the door panel. You have that matching blue accent that we saw up front. And this will be also nice for people to know is the rear windows, they roll all the way down, just in case you're wondering. My kids always wonder if the rear windows go all the way down or not. Yeah, so if you want more room or you don't have any passengers back here, you can flip the seats back and you have a nice tidy storage area back there as well. Also, if you have some objects you need to transport fairly flat, you can actually fold the seat back down. And here's a nice feature. You can pull the headrest up, and instead of having to remove it, which you can, it just folds down this way and it will fit perfect. So you have a fairly flat area here, and you have a little bit of storage area in behind the seat as well. You hear that, everyone? That's something a little bit different. There are a lot of big differences on this new Tacoma in terms of drivetrain. By the way, we have a new face in the passenger seat here. This is Andrew. Say hi, Andrew. Hey. Andrew has been kind enough to help out film this Tacoma. So a lot of these images that you see are courtesy of Andrew. So thank you, Andrew, because it's really hard for me to actually film and drive at the same time. So biggest news, no more 3.5-liter V6 available on the Tacoma. You have 2 new power plants now. You get the 2.4 turbo and the 2.4 turbo hybrid, which they call the iForce Max, and that's essentially the same as what the Grand Highlander has. So this 2.4 turbo has 278 horsepower, which is the exact same as the outgoing 3.5 liter V6. Yeah, so same horsepower, but way more torque. 56 pound-feet more torque with 317 pound-feet. And the nice thing is that you get maximum torque at just barely over 1,500 RPM. So nice low-end grunt, and that's really going to be handy for, for towing, for off-road, everything. Everyone loves torque. And this 2.4 turbo is no slouch. A run to 60 miles an hour is done a full half second faster than the 3.5 liter V6. So you're gonna get more torque, you get more performance, and you get better efficiency. Now, we haven't driven a lot today, but we did do a run, mainly highway driving at higher speeds. Man, it's a Sunday today, and the traffic is going very fast. Like, the flow of traffic was 120K on the freeway, but we averaged just over about 11 liters per 100 kilometers for this new power plant. Now, coming in the spring is the new 2.4 turbo hybrid. That iForce Max, same, very similar to the Grand Highlander that we drove. Now that one's gonna crank out 326 horsepower and 465 pound-feet. Now that's gonna be available on some of the trims like the TRD Pro and that new Trail Hunter. That is also not gonna be available at the launch time. So hopefully, check back, we will have those on the channel eventually. With the new hybrid powertrain and the new platform, payload has been increased up to 1,705 pounds, and towing remains the same at 6,400 pounds for the new Tacoma. Ride-wise, hey, it's quiet. For a pickup truck, it's actually very, very quiet. You think it's quiet?
It's quiet.
It's quiet, yeah. Considering that we have the big, huge BF Goodrich all-terrain tires on here, you have to remember that. And yeah, I've got no problem hearing. We have a conversation, zero issue at all. And the ride is so much more refined. This motor is way more responsive than the outgoing, hands down, for sure. Now, a lot of people have commented, like they're really stuck on, hey, I'm gonna miss the V6, a 4-cylinder turbo is gonna be unreliable. Well, I had a look at MotorMouth's video where they had an interview with a chief engineer, and they addressed the reliability of a 4-cylinder turbo over a 3.5 liter V6. And let me tell you, those of you that know Toyota know it's all about reliability. It's, they wouldn't put out something without millions of miles and hours and thousands of hours of testing on these engines before they put them into some of their best vehicles. So I don't think you're gonna have any issue whatsoever, because this engine and this power plant is shared across the line with so many of their popular platforms and vehicles. Here's something interesting that we just kind of stumbled across on this new Tacoma. We were driving and we were taking some camera shots, and I had reversed, but then I opened the door. So instead of the vehicle continue rolling, it knew that if I was gonna open the door, I might get out, and actually applied the parking brake automatically with the vehicle in gear automatically. And I think that's a great feature. It's a great safety feature. So more about the drive, we do have our different drive modes for off-road, but for on-road, we also can adjust. We can go into sport, normal, or eco. And of course, off-road's, that's self-explanatory. We can put our transmission, which is an 8-speed automatic, into manual as well if you want to control your shifting. That might be handy if you're towing something, for instance. So we can just apply that. Now under low, you can hear the kick down there. Sometimes you will hear a nice little whine, and that's coming from the turbo. It's not overbearing or anything, but just kind of faint in the background, just letting you know that it's there. I honestly felt like the current generation V6, I felt that it felt underpowered a little bit to me, and this is going to take all of that away. The amount of torque is great. To sum up the road manners of the new Tacoma, it really hits the mark in so many places, but what makes it work so well is that everything combines in harmony. You get that extra low RPM torque from that 2.4 turbo, get that electric power steering working, then you get that brand new multi-link coil spring rear suspension, match it to the TNGA stiffer F platform, and it really gives the driver a feeling of more control and confidence. It just reacts quicker. It has a real comfortable ride, making it an easy choice as an everyday road driver, which, let's be real, where it's going to spend most of its time. But of course, Taco owners love to explore, so off-road we go. All right, we have taken this Taco off-road because that's kind of its second home, isn't it? A lot of people off-road with their Tacoma. Now, this is off-road, but it's not extreme off-road for a couple reasons. Number one, this is a prototype vehicle, and I don't want to be the one that actually breaks it for everyone else. Number two is I'm in an area that I'm really not familiar with. And so, yeah, but it's really good to see how, this handles and, its off-road chops. So what's really different on here, first of all, we have electric power steering. It's actually very responsive, easy, of course, to use, but the biggest difference, rear suspension on this new platform. And someone asked me on the YouTube channel on the questions, how does this compare to a unibody truck like, let's say like the Ridgeline, for instance? Because when you get into a full body on frame truck like this, normally you kind of sacrifice ride quality. And I gotta say, with this more rigid platform, especially when on the off-road version, I'm really impressed. Especially, we're going high speed right now, and we're flying over these large potholes. This thing is really, really, really handling like a champ for sure. Another addition on this new Tacoma, instead of rear drum brakes, now all Tacomas come with disc brakes for the rear, so that's better for heat dissipation and also quicker braking. Let's hit it right now. ABS goes. Really good braking. And accelerate off. Listen to that 2.4 turbo. Yeah, you got no issue here off-road with this power plant at all. 278 horsepower. Now we're in 4 high right now. If you want to get into the real gnarly stuff, we have our drive mode, but also doubles as on the outside, doubles as our terrain selector. So we have multi-terrain select on here. We can turn that and we can choose what type of off-road mode that we want. Of course, we have 4 high and we have crawl capability, which is essentially like cruise control for off-roads. And we also have that locking rear diff. We're not going to need any of that today, but I will include some shots of this Tacoma doing some more severe off-road. I was lucky enough to be at the launch of the previous or the current generation Tacoma when it came out quite a few years ago, and that one we went and we put it through its paces on a special off-road course. So I know how capable that one was, and I guarantee Toyota's not going to make something that's any less capable for sure. By the way, this is Andrew's kind of first time off-roading. He was really surprised. He's like, "Oh, are you sure we can go down there?" Yeah, like this is a cakewalk for a truck like the Tacoma, hands down. So easy. Now, one thing I do wish this was equipped with is that 360 camera for some of this trail stuff and backing in and turning around in these tight trails. It would be nice. And unfortunately, with a longer wheelbase, you do have a little compromise, is a larger turning radius, so it takes a little bit of time to turn around. Well, there you go. There's our first drive of the new Tacoma. I think they really did a solid on this vehicle. It's not only bigger, it's more capable, it's more powerful, it's more efficient, and I really like the style, but that's my opinion. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Also, make sure to like and subscribe to see more Tacoma content. Hopefully, we're gonna get that new TRD Pro and that Hot Trail Hunter on the channel real soon. So the new Tacoma goes on sale at the beginning of 2024. That hybrid or the TRD Pro is coming out just in the spring, a couple months after that. So that's it. Hope to see you next time. Ciao.